Hello, everybody. My name is Kimball Hooker here at the Kimball Hooker Show. You guys can check out all of our interviews that we've had with previous musicians prior to now. Just go to kimball.show is where we can be found here in Los Gatos, Monte Sereno. I'm so excited today to have our special guest. Here's one of his projects that he has. We're going to go over it. Mr. Jim Bruno.
Hey, Kimball, how you doing, man?
I am fabulous.
All right.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Awesome. I'm here, you know.
Awesome. I see a lot of interesting things behind you. I see a lot of nice equipment, and you're multi-talented, multi-timbral talented. You can sing, you play multi-instruments. I mean, you have an extensive musical background that we're going to get into, but where's Jim Bruno from?
Born in San Francisco.
Okay.
Lived there for 6 months. Brought me down to San Jose, and I've been here ever since.
Wow. Wow. San Jose.
Yeah.
Been here a long time.
Long time.
Cool. Nice. How did you get started with, your musical background?
So the reason why I left San Francisco at 6 months old is my parents split up. Okay. So they brought me down here to my grandparents. I had a grandmother who could sing 4 hours and never repeat a song.
Wow.
So from as long as I could remember while she was doing homework, while she was doing housework and all of that, I think by the time I was 7 or 8, I could sing a lot of standards because she just, I learned from her songs like That's All and The Very Thought of You.
Oh, nice.
Those things like that. I woke up every morning listening to Dinah Washington, Sinatra, Joe Williams from a child.
So music was basically in the home.
Yeah, and my dad, who was a merchant marine, was also a really good singer, she was his mother. So both of them could sing.
Gotcha.
So I heard singing happening, and then I think start playing the violin when I was in the 3rd grade, and then everybody told me it was a girl's instrument. So then I started playing saxophone, quit playing the violin for a while until I figured out it's a cool instrument.
It's a cool instrument, right.
And by the time I was 11, I had found the guitar.
Okay.
And I was playing the guitar, and I was playing originally at the age of 11, I was playing in a surf band, a band that did like all surf instrumental music.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then that went on, played the county fairs and did that kind of thing. Actually had a manager,
Okay.
And then somebody at the age of 14 took me to a James Brown concert.
Changed everything.
That band, the bass, the drums, James in his prime, flying out on one foot, looked like he could fly.
Wow.
And so at 14, very impressed.
Wow.
And so then from that moment on, all the way through my teens, it was soul music. Listen to the soul stations, it was soul music.
Soul required.
Yeah.
I love it. And now, I have a quick question for you. So now, just going back to when you say your earlier, younger age, like 4, 5, 6, 7, were you schooled? Were you self-taught? How did you kind of pick up on the instrument, the flute, the clarinet, the guitar? Were you self-taught?
Yeah.
Wow. So you have an ear.
So I think my grandmother singing all the time. Mm-hmm. People, if they grow up in a church or if the family is singing, then it's not, you just learn how to duplicate a note.
Understand.
You don't know it. You don't know that's a C or a D or a major chord or a minor chord, but you can hear it.
Right. That is true. Because I heard it in my house growing up.
Right.
And I had the same experience.
Right. Okay. But then I got interested in music, of course,
What made you pursue it, though, to say, like, you know what, I want to do more of this? Because sometimes you could have a knack for something and not pursue it.
Okay, well, the real story is I didn't just go 6 months and then go to my grandmother's. I went to my grandmother for a while, then I was taken to Washington for a while to my other grandmother, then I was back with this grandmother, then my mom remarried, and I was back in San Francisco for a year, and that was a disaster. I was back to my grandmother. So from kindergarten to the middle of the 5th grade, I was in 6 different grammar schools.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot, yeah.
And music was my thing. I mean, I could listen to music, I could figure things out off of records without knowing why.
Right.
And when you're a kid, it's no big deal, but when you're a kid and you're the new kid in school, you have to have at least one fight in every school.
Right.
Just for pecking order's sake.
Right.
You know, so the music sort of validated me. You know, everybody started thinking I was cool if I was doing music, playing the guitar. And all that.
Right.
And then the reason why that little album says Jimmy Knight Soul Required is because after James Brown, I turned that band from being a surf band into a 4-piece horn band.
Oh, wow.
And then I was singing James Brown, Four Tops, Temptations.
Oh, my goodness.
And dancing like James Brown, down on the knees, doing the splits.
Nice.
All of that kind of stuff. And the only reason why I changed my name is that there's another local guy here in town. His name is Jimmy Bajorquez, and everybody used to call him Little Jimmy B.
Okay.
He's a couple years older than me.
Okay.
And he was in a great band. And I looked up to him.
Okay.
But everyone started confusing us because I had a Jimmy B and he was a Jimmy B. So because we named the band the Nightcaps.
Okay, that was the Nightcaps.
Yeah, that was the name of the band. Was the
Right.
Nightcaps.
When did Stick?
Oh, the Stick band?
Yeah.
That's in my adult. That's heading later in my life.
Okay, later in your life. Okay, got it. Okay, so transitioning into say high school, college. What's happening at this time? How did you
all the way through high school? I'm in the Nightcaps.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
So Jimmy Knight, we there in those days there used to be tons of Battle of the Bands.
Oh, wow.
We 1 year won every battle, first place. We
Nice.
won the county fair. We won. There used to be a place here in San Jose called the Santa Clara Youth Village, and they called it the What's It Club.
Oh.
And all the kids, the only prerequisite to going there is you had to have a student body card. You have to be high school age, and all of the high schools went there.
Wow.
And hey, that's where the action was.
That's
right?
where the action was. And you were right there.
And they had pool tables in it. It was run by a priest, a good priest, and his name was Father Schmidt. And there's a gigantic story about him. He's very famous.
Huh.
And
Wow.
he ran that and for the youth, you know. And so my whole childhood, teen life, I played all of the places around here. There used to be 29 different venues that had live music just in the South Bay.
Wow.
Not
That's
now.
not even San Francisco.
That's not even
the
San
South
Francisco.
Bay.
This is the South Bay.
So now what genre are we talking? Or was it just kind of spread out? Was it like bebop? Was it jazz? Was
No,
it blues?
it was us doing steps like the Temptations.
Okay.
Michael Jackson wasn't even quite around yet. As I was getting older, he showed up.
So it's more like Motown, soul.
Yeah.
Soul.
That's what we're doing. I listen to KDIA and we're playing Motown.
Oh, wow.
And I'm doing all the steps and doing all that stuff.
Now were you guys doing like covers or originals?
All covers.
All covers.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Had I known better in my adulthood now, I understand that we should have been recording and we should have been doing originals. But, you know, hey, I made a living out of it. I was telling you, we won all these different battles of the bands. We also won the Teenage World's Fair at the Cow Palace.
Oh, nice. That's big.
That was big. And then from that moment on, and I was 16, I was old enough to drive to that gig. From that moment on, I had a calendar that I would, just mark when we had the gigs.
Mm-hmm.
We had every Friday and Saturday night booked 1 year out.
Wow.
That's when I was a junior in high school.
You were a working band.
Yeah. I bought my own car.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah.
That's big. Now, back then, were there labels or not really?
Yeah, there's labels, but we weren't on any of them.
No. But back then, okay, give me some of the major artists that were out that, like, who are some of the people that you admired? Any artists?
Well, okay, always at different times. You already heard I love James Brown.
That's one.
Right.
But you said...
And he had his own label to talk about James Brown. James Brown had his own label. He wasn't on somebody else's label.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because everyone wanted to take too much money from him, and he was a smart man.
I know he had a lot of radio stations. I knew that. But his own label, I didn't know.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Live at the Apollo and some of those really crazy good albums.
Okay.
But then the Four Tops.
Okay.
Right? And then Temptations.
R&B, yeah.
There's a great album
Soul.
called Live at the Upper Deck. Look it up.
Yeah.
I think we learned, and it was a live Temptation thing. I think we learned the whole show.
Wow.
Copied it. We weren't as good.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, but
kids.
that's like your humble beginnings, though. Right? That's where you came from.
That's right.
Okay, so you're in San Jose. Take us into like your 20s.
Okay, so I would go from high school to college.
Yeah.
I'm I'm an older guy. So, all of this was happening in the 60s. I graduated from high school in 1968.
I wasn't here yet.
So,
okay.
That's why you don't know some of those albums.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I'm learning a lot too.
Okay, so from that, the 60s had drugs and craziness and all of that. And my band wasn't away from that. But I was raised by this Christian grandmother, and I kind of didn't go there. Right. I'm not going to act like Clinton and say I never inhaled.
Right.
But it was never my thing. But it kind of got to be a thing in the band that broke up the band.
Oh, got it.
So then I graduate from high school. My mother, who I didn't live with, had remarried, and she lived in Nevada, and they had a vending machine business called Carson Tahoe Vending, and she put all the records on all of the jukeboxes. So I went up there and I worked for the summer. And in the middle of the summer, I got a phone call from an agent. And the agent said, hey, we're trying to put together a band of guys that are just around, loose ends of guys that are not in bands right now.
Okay.
So we did that. I came back. I started playing, and I started playing bass and singing in that band, even though I was the lead singer in the other band.
Right.
And
what's the name of this band?
We were they called them the Loose Ends, and then after a while we dropped off the ends and just called ourselves Loose.
Loose. I like that even now. Loose.
And so that band ended up playing ended up having this agent that booked us all these country towns like Jamestown, Lodi, all of those places. And we were playing junior proms, senior balls, that kind of thing.
Right.
And the band was really good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Had a friend who passed away.
Okay.
Who was, I've always said, and those that know him, probably the most gifted musician I ever met in my life in so many ways.
Wow.
He was born with club hand, and his hands were like this.
Okay.
In the bone structure when he was born.
Okay.
His parents had no money, but the Shriners got a hold of him.
Right.
And then as he was growing up, they broke the bones in his hands 2 or 3 times as he was going from childhood up to about 10 years old.
Okay.
And so his hands were very scarred, thin. He was a good-looking guy, but kind of thin hands, and his hands looked like this.
Okay.
Best keyboard player I've ever heard in my life. Just like Django, you had to take the disability and turn the disability into an ability.
Right.
And then he could sing. Oh, he could sing. He could sing like Janis. He could sing like him.
Wow.
He could sing smooth.
What is his name?
His original name was Rick Pennell, but he changed his name to Ian Lovestone.
Lovestone. I like that. Ian Lovestone. Got character.
And
I like
then
that.
He died. I held his hand as he died, and he had cancer.
Yeah.
Smoking.
Wow. So you've been through a lot then. Yeah.
The music business and life.
Right. This is life as it happens, as it unfolds.
For all of us, don't we all have we all got a book, we all got a story.
Right. When you sing, when people sing, they tell a story. You
Absolutely.
can feel it. And when they sing, you can really hear their heartfelt. In their because there's passion. In what they're displaying. So some of the music that you were singing back in the days, do you guys do harmonies? And
absolutely.
Really?
Our horn section, kind of, again, not as good, but we were kind of like Tower of Power.
Oh, wow.
So we had that horn section, and the horn section sang backup vocals just like Towers does.
Right.
Our guitar player, our bass player and guitar player sang a little bit too. So we had all those big harmonies.
Right.
And I love harmony.
Right.
And I love harmony to this day. People talk about the old music, but honestly, I like new music. I like Jasmia Horn. I think she's like off the hook.
Right.
Jacob Collier.
See?
Everybody's talking about Jacob Collier. He really is the real deal.
Real deal. You guys heard it.
Yeah.
Wow. You have some instruments back there. I'm
I do.
Curious. I want to hear you play something.
Well, it's not going to be much, but because we can't really play any songs. But this is called an EVI, that stands for electric valve instrument.
Did you make that?
No, I know it looks like this comes from the metal shop.
Or the wrecking yard or something.
Okay,
I don't know.
well, the guy that made it, his name is Niall Steiner.
Okay.
These EVIs, and this one's MIDI. So I can
wow.
plug it into any synthesizer and make it anything. I could change a few sounds for you. I'll show you that.
Have at it.
But it's got trumpet fingerings.
Oh, okay.
And then you see this, I know it looks like a bug sprayer, but you see this canister right here?
Okay.
Okay, well, my thumb runs along these valves.
My goodness.
And so like a trumpet player, he's lipping up and down a fourth and a fifth or an octave.
Okay.
What my lip normally would do on a trumpet, that's happening right there.
Got it.
Interval of fourth and a fifth.
Right. Got it.
So.
That was, I really like that. I've never heard that sound before. That's really cool.
So if I could reach over here just for a moment.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, no problem. That was really cool. You're a little caught up in that
Maybe I can't.
cable there.
Let's see if I can do this. I don't even know what sound. Oops.
That was really cool. I love that sound.
Now I'm just moving this. I can't even see, but I just changed the sound, so we'll see what it is.
Thanks to MIDI, you can do that.
Right. You do this. Basically anything
Nice.
that a synthesizer, think about, this is MIDI. I can plug this
Right.
into any synthesizer in the world.
Yeah, it emulates whatever you
Right.
can. Yeah.
I mean, I could get beats with it
Right.
and do raps, and I could loop it, and
Right.
all the different. And I do that sometimes.
Nice. I like it. I
that's
like it.
that.
But now that you can't just get that like at I don't know, your local music store.
No.
No.
Well, unless it's a trade-in, right?
Oh, got it, yeah.
So, but you can go online and you can easily get them. All you got to do is Google EVI, Steiner. Now, the person who originally invented it, his name is Niall Steiner.
Oh, got
And
it.
so that used to just be called a Steiner.
Okay.
And I was going to bring that too. The original one is analog. It's like an analog synth
Got it.
Inside of a box by itself, not MIDI. So I've been playing that since the 80s. That's probably the perfect transition into talking about what happened from the whole Nightcap Soul thing.
Right.
Then I didn't bring that instrument either, but I got onto an instrument called a Chapman Stick.
Okay.
It's a 10-stringed instrument, or a 12-string instrument now. They have both types. And the left-hand side is like a bass guitar. The right-hand side's like a lead guitar.
Okay.
And it's a stereo chord. One goes through a bass amp, one goes through a lead amp. And so you can be the whole band.
Oh my goodness.
And there's a lot of videos on YouTube of me playing that and singing.
Wow.
I mean, there are videos that you can find me singing.
And what is that called again?
That is called the Chapman Stick.
Chapman Stick.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's different styles of it. One is called an NS stick, which is not Steinberger.
Sure.
So it doesn't have the head. It just like the Steinbergers, it
Yeah.
doesn't have the head on it, but you can play it. That one's kind of like a hybrid between the stick and the guitar, and where you can play a lot of finger picking and thumb stuff and do that.
Oh, nice.
And I played that.
Nice.
The other thing that happened is that as all of this was going on, and I was in that stick band, and the stick band had probably, we were together like 12 years, and the other stick player and myself were during the whole 12-year run, but we had other drummers and different things. Meanwhile, while that was happening, I had to make another living. The other living was that when I was a senior in high school, I got a phone call from a local store here called Guitar Showcase. And at Guitar Showcase, they already knew of me because I was Jimmy Knight and all of that stuff. And the owner asked me if I wanted to teach guitar.
Nice.
So I went and I took over 8 students. And the 8 students that I took over was from a very beautiful young lady by the name of Sherry Eastman.
Oh, okay.
And her father was Bud Eastman. And Bud Eastman is actually the man who originally started Guitar Showcase. He sold it to one of my friends and his name was Barry Weinroth. He sold it because he had this little project going on in his garage called Guitar Player Magazine. So he is the guy who started Guitar Player Magazine. Sherry was his daughter. So I took over her students. I started teaching guitar. And I was always singing even when I was playing guitar, all my guitar students. But as time went by, the store wanted to get a little bit bigger, and they wanted to stop the teaching.
Oh.
And so I said, I think that's a terrible idea. So I bought a house on the same street, and I took over the teaching, but still ran it through Guitar Showcase. They were one house down from me.
Okay.
And I ran that for about maybe 7-8 years, worried that I was going to get somebody saying, because we weren't zone commercial.
Oh, got it.
Someone was going to say, what are you doing here? But meanwhile, a contractor who was taking lessons from me said, let me build you a really cool building. And prices were different than they are today.
Of course, I bet.
And so I tore down that house. Guitar Showcase, the house that was in the middle between mine and theirs, was their mother was living there.
Oh.
They moved their mom out, tore that house down, built onto Guitar Showcase, making it twice the size it was, and then my building, and we had this big music complex. And so then for the next 30 years, I've been at Guitar Showcase. I got to a point where I had 100 guitar students a week.
Oh my gosh.
Now, most of my students are all vocal students, but I can show somebody how to accompany themselves on piano or how to accompany themselves as a singer on the guitar. I'm writing a book right now, and the book, I've been trying to figure out the title. Don't hold me to this, world, but I think I'm going to call it A Musical Mind.
Nice.
And that's my idea is that it's even though I play all these instruments, it started with singing. Everything is that I can sing it. And so that's what I'm showing people in the book, ba ba da ba da ba da ba be do da do da do da do da do da do da, chromatic scale coming down.
Wow.
Major scale going up. Ba ba da pwee be do 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 do. Do 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 do. So I'm stopping on the harmonies. I'm coming down from the root down to the fifth, and the fifth down to the third, from the third down to the root. So that's kind of what the book's about. Just the idea of being able to hear that, and then once you can do that, same thing, right? I got the accordion sound. Oh well. Okay. Let's see, how about this one? That's a major seventh. That's a fifth. That's your third. That's
wow.
the root, right? Or that's a flat seven. So now it's a dominant seventh chord.
Wow.
So, and so forth, right?
Wow.
So I can sing it or I can play it on any instrument.
Interesting.
This is the coolest sounding instrument of all of them, and you're not going to hear it today because I couldn't get it to work in time for the show.
What is this called?
This is called the Morrison Digital Trumpet, and for short it's called an MDT, Morrison Digital Trumpet.
Okay.
Okay, it's
a really cool looking instrument, I have to say.
It's a trumpet. It's an electric trumpet. And I can play it, but you're not going to hear it today. But I thought I'd at least show you what it looks like.
Wow.
Now, you know how I was moving that canister around to get the notes? On this side, there's buttons. And the same clicks that I was doing on that canister are these buttons.
Oh.
So all my fingering, everything's still the same. It's trumpet fingering. For trumpet players that are watching this show, it's in the first octave, no matter what octave I go up. Trumpet players, as they go higher up, they have to things get thinner, and they have to start changing their fingering.
Right.
I use the same fingering no matter how high. I'm Instant Maynard Ferguson, or the lead trumpet player in Tower of Power.
With that, right?
With this, yeah.
Oh wow.
So,
woo. What is the learning curve on that?
If you're a good trumpet player, although I hope he sees this right now. I have a great friend who's a great trumpet player here in the area. I won't say his name because of what I'm going to say right now, but he's a great trumpet player. He teases me all the time, calls these my tinker toys.
Tinker toys.
But he plays, he just plays like Chet Baker. And he's off the hook, right?
Wow.
So I let him razz me. But a guy like that, who's a great trumpet player, anybody who can play the trumpet, it's going to take you about 3 months to figure the left hand out.
Oh, got it.
And then after that, then, your mind again, just like we're talking about.
Home
mind.
free.
Right.
Got it. Jim, thank you for coming in. Listen, we're not going to end this interview. We're going to take a short break and we'll come right back.
All right.
And for everybody that's listening, tuning in, my special guest is Jim Bruno, and we're going to continue in about another minute or so. I'm Kimball Hooker. Guys, check out our interviews here at kimball.show, and we'll be right back.
Thank you to the Los Gatos Community Foundation for their continued support of KCAT Public Media. Because of groups like the Los Gatos Community Foundation, KCAT has been able to inspire, educate, entertain, and inform our community through the magic of television and digital media for over 38 years. Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Kimball Hooker Show. I'm here with my special guest, Mr. Jim Bruno, and we're going to just dive right back into it. I want to hear more about that. What instrument is that called? What is it called?
This one?
No, the blue.
You mean my electric violin?
Yes, that one. Oh, wow. Beautiful sound.
Right.
Oh my gosh, fretless.
You were talking about like the trumpet players that take them 3 months to figure out how to play that over there.
Yeah.
Violin player can just pick this up and kick butt.
Right.
It's just a violin.
Yeah, but the way you handle it is just so classy.
Yeah, right now it's like, ooh.
You're cramped for space, but you still make it sound so beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. And then what is that actually in your left hand that you're putting in? What is that called?
The bows?
Oh, is that the bows?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that like horsehair? What is that?
No, these are not horsehair. This one I've had for quite a while, and it cost me about $250.
Oh,
right?
wow. Okay.
This one I just got. It's called a Coda bow.
Coda bow.
$750.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. What is it made of?
It's some
like nylon.
It's carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber.
This is the bow itself is carbon fiber, and then some kind of plastic thing
Got
that
it.
they got here. I don't even know what it is. But you put rosin on it, and I mean, again, any violinist
can pick that up.
Could pick that up. I mean, it might take them a moment to get used to what an electric violin sounds like.
Right.
My thing is that I love to sing, and so normally what I do is I have this music stand, and it's kind of like my Christmas tree. I've got other instruments I didn't bring, but I just hang things on it. And so then I'll go out and I'll play a gig, and when I'm playing that gig, I've got background tracks, and I just pick up whatever instrument I want to play in the middles of the tracks.
Oh, wow.
And not sometimes not even the same instrument on the different songs.
How many instruments do you play?
I play the drums, I play keyboard. I'm a vocal instructor. I back people up on the keyboard all the time. So I play keyboard, I play guitar, I play the Chapman Stick, I play 6 different violin. I have a 4-string, 5-string, and 6-string electric violins. My 6-string looks like a flying V guitar. It's really cool.
Wow. Is that like the keytar?
No.
Different.
Yeah. The keytar is more like a game.
Okay.
I think. I mean, I don't have one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, but whatever. It works.
I don't play. You know what I don't play?
What's that?
The accordion.
You don't play the accordion?
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
I don't want to.
You don't want to. It sounds beautiful, though.
You know, my grandfather was born in New Orleans, though. You know, and he always wanted me to play the banjo because he loved the banjo because
Right.
it was from New Orleans. You know, and I messed with it a little bit, but it's mostly the stringed instruments, singing.
Wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the wind instruments.
Gotcha. Oh, nice. Okay, so you know what I always liked at was it Guitar Showcase, was it? Don't you guys have like the drum offs?
Yeah. You know who Vinnie Caliuto is?
Yes.
He was there.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Wow.
Wow.
And you know who Narada Michael Walden is?
Narada Michael Walden, right out of San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay.
Aretha Franklin. Yes.
He's a great producer.
A great producer.
And
yeah.
very cool guy. If you've
Yeah.
ever talked to him. He actually, in the stick band that I played for the 12 years.
Yeah.
Our first drummer was an amazing drummer by the name of Bob Cooper, and Michael Walden was his teacher.
Oh,
He
wow.
studied with
Nice.
Michael for about 2 years, and so he had all the drums split up in different ways. And all of
Wow.
that.
Nice.
My other buddy is Bob Culbertson. He's
Okay.
a great. You can Google these people. He's a great stick player. Google Bob Culbertson.
I like he said stick player. That's classy. I like that. Yeah.
And then what I've been doing recently, talking about playing to the tracks, is that I've been playing with 2 other guys and a saxophone player. We bring out the tracks. Johnny Reason,
Okay.
who records a lot of these tracks. And Johnny's crazy. He sings like Luther.
Wow.
He plays guitar like George Benson. And he records all of this stuff. And if you're hip to who this is, his cousin is Wayne Henderson of the Jazz Crusaders.
Wow. Google these people.
You actually should have Johnny on your show.
Wow. That's next.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to actually hook that up.
All right.
We appreciate you coming on this show, explaining so much about the instruments. We've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. And just taking us back through your history. You have such a rich musical history. You're a legend.
It's my passion. I don't know what I'd do without it,
Right.
because, life is what it is. It's the up and down swings. But somehow music just is some kind of powerful thing on the planet that we don't even understand.
Absolutely. It's the musical language. It speaks to all.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely.
And it brings enemies together.
That too. I've seen it bring people together and separate people too.
Yeah,
it
too.
tells a lot of stories in it.
Yeah.
But the one thing I love about music the most is everyone engages in it.
Right.
For whatever your reason is, through happy, joy, sad, glad, we all find something interesting about it. And it doesn't matter what language you speak, what country you're from. It doesn't matter how old you are. Your past doesn't matter if you if you understand music or you don't speak music. It doesn't matter. You still understand it.
That's
and we
right.
all resonate to it. We all take something from it. So when you can play an instrument or sing, you capture the mind of the people. Like the name of your book, you might just hold it, right? You might just stick to it.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you almost done with your book?
Almost done.
Cool. Jim, thank you so much for coming on the Kimball
Thank
Hooker
you
Show.
so much
We
for
appreciate you.
inviting me.
We'd love to see you live. Is there any website that you have?
So there's a couple, to get to see the thing about the nightcaps. It's Jimmy Knight. Jimmy Knight. Yeah, that is. It's jimmyknight.com.
Okay, so Jimmy Knight, just like it sounds?
Yeah, and it's just a whole website about my kids' band, and there's stuff on there. And then the stick band is stickbandsj.com.
Okay.
And if you go to anybody that goes to that, go to the videos, go to 1986, and you'll see all these videos
Okay.
and that's kind of, you could really see the group in its prime.
Oh, wow. So the history is there from the stick band.
Yeah, everything about the stick band is there.
Wow. Such a legend. Thank you so much for coming on the Kimball Hooker
Again,
Show.
thank you so much, Kimball.
Everyone, stay tuned. We're going to be back for more episodes. Check it out, kimball.show, where we have all of our interviews from all the previous artists, including, just give it a little bit of time, but we'll have Jim Bruno on there. We're just so excited to have him on our show. We will be back next time. This is season 2, Kimball Hooker Show. Till next time, we'll see you then.
You just heard the Kimball Hooker Show here on KCAT Radio. Explore all our KCAT original programming at kcat.org/radio.